Tonight, our special transmission as media reports show the U.S. provided intelligence support to Israel for its preemptive strike against Hezbollah. Assalamu alaikum and good evening. This is Muslim News Canada on Muslim Network TV. I'm Elia Batul. Today is the 328th day since the onset of Israel's war. Israel's military continues its intensified assault on Gaza. A series of deadly strikes have targeted central and southern regions. Palestinian Health Ministry reports in the past 24 hours, 58 Palestinians have been killed in the besieged enclave. 131 have been injured. A school sheltering displaced individuals in Deir al-Balah have been hit, resulting in 8 deaths. In a separate incident, photojournalist Mohammad Abd Rabbo has been killed in an Israeli air raid on his family home in Nuseirat. His sister also died in the attack. The Palestinian Journalists Syndicate estimates 161 media workers have been killed since October 7th. 186 journalists have been injured in Gaza and the West Bank. 51 have been arrested. In the occupied West Bank, Israeli forces have carried out their largest raid in nearly 20 years. Operations in Jenin, Tulkarem, and the Farah camp have killed at least 9 civilians. The scale of the raid has prompted Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas to cut short his visit to Saudi Arabia to return to the West Bank. Israel's foreign minister has suggested the displacement of Palestinians from northern West Bank areas. He is drawing comparisons to the Gaza conflict. The United Nations has suspended its operations in Gaza due to recent evacuation orders. Polio vaccination campaign has also been put on hold. At least 40,553 Palestinians have been killed in the past 10 months. 93,778 have been injured. Free-Palestinian students activists at Columbia and New York University are facing heavy censorship at the start of the new academic year. Both institutions have ramped up restrictions on Free Palestine activism. The account of Columbia's Student for Justice in Palestine has been permanently banned from Instagram. Soon after, the Palestinian Solidarity Committee of New York University was also banned. This followed a recent campaign by the Secure Community Network and Hillel International to curb anti-Israel sentiment on campuses. A new policy by the New York University warns against speech critical of Zionism. The policy has sparked controversy. Critics accuse the university of censoring dissent. Meta's actions have also drawn criticism. Free speech advocates say the platform's policies on Zionism resemble university efforts to suppress free Palestinian voices. U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris's support for Israel at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago has drawn sharp criticism from the activists. Despite protests and calls for an end to U.S. aid to Israel, Harris emphasizes Israel's right to self-defense at the convention. The convention's decision to bar a Palestinian speaker further fueled discontent. Activists condemn the party's apparent disregard for Palestinian perspectives. Harris is campaigning for the presidency. Her position on the Gaza war has intensified calls for change. A student organizer from the University of Michigan warns if the Democratic Party shuts its doors to the Palestinian people, they will close their doors from achieving any meaningful victory. Israeli media reports the U.S. provided intelligence support to Israel for its preemptive strike against Hezbollah. The White House has acknowledged President Biden's close monitoring of the situation. An unnamed official has confirmed that the U.S. provided intelligence to Israel. Details remain confidential. Israeli warplanes executed over 40 airstrikes on southern Lebanon this past Sunday. The move marks the most intense assault since cross-border skirmishes began in October. Israel asserts these strikes were necessary to thwart a looming Hezbollah attack. In retaliation, Hezbollah launched a barrage of missiles and drones into Israel. The militant group calls its initial response to the recent assassination of their commander, Fawad Shukr. The cross-border firing has displaced around 90,000 Israelis. Around the same number of Lebanese have also been displaced. U.S. Air Force General Charles Brown has suggested the risk of a broader regional war has decreased following recent clashes between Israel and Hezbollah. Despite this, the White House maintains that Iran may strike any time. It may draw the U.S. into the war. Brown is the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He arrived in Israel on Sunday after Israel launched a series of strikes on Lebanon. He is expected to visit Lebanon soon to manage the crisis. Hezbollah's chief Hassan Nasrallah has indicated that the group may respond later if necessary. The group continues to exchange daily fire with Israel. It says it will only halt attacks if a ceasefire in Gaza is reached. Iran appears to be tempering its reactions. The U.S. continues to monitor the situation closely. An 11-month-old boy has become Gaza's first polio case in 25 years. Abdul Rahman Abu al-Jidyan's condition started deteriorating with a fever and a paralysis in his left leg. He was diagnosed in August. The disease is halting his development. It has left him immobile. The polio outbreak in Gaza is linked to deteriorating sanitation amidst ongoing conflict. The United Nations is working on a vaccine campaign. However, limited access due to bombings and displacement is hampering efforts. A Canadian nurse has shared his harrowing 8-month ordeal in Gaza, where he faced constant life-threatening dangers. Ahmed Gota is of Palestinian descent. Gota arrived in Gaza in September last year to work on his health management thesis. He was trapped in Gaza after the October 7th attacks. Gota started working in northern Gaza hospitals. He survived multiple airstrikes and witnessed daily horrors, including frequent funerals and the death of acquaintances. Gota tried documenting the crisis on Instagram. However, he faced censorship. He says only a fraction of Gaza's suffering reaches the public. Gota is decrying the world's apathy and is calling for global intervention. A Muslim family from Whitby, Ontario says it is still searching for answers after the tragic death of their 14-year-old son. Earlier this month, the family went to shop at an Oshawa mall. Their son did not want to go inside, so they left him in the van. He promised to use the time to practice his lines for an upcoming play at the Whitby Library. The family arrived to their vehicle at 5:30 p.m. They found Subhan in a critical condition, with his seatbelt wrapped tightly around his neck. A passerby managed to cut the seatbelt. Subhan was later pronounced dead after being transferred to Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto. The family is devastated by the loss. They say they are struggling to understand what happened. The news of Subhan's death has sent shockwaves through the community. Whitby Mayor Elizabeth Roy has offered her deepest condolences. Roy says the police attended the scene and it determined that no criminal investigation was necessary. Durham police issued a statement on Wednesday afternoon acknowledging the incident. The statement says there are no signs of foul play. Thank you for watching Muslim News Canada. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you news you can trust. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment on what you thought of today's coverage. We need your support for donations. Please scan the QR code on our broadcast or visit muslimnetwork.tv to donate now, so we can continue to amplify the voices of Muslims in Canada and abroad.